So welcome to day 4 on the Captain's blog. It's the last full day and getting ready to depart the moorings here at Cockshute Dyke on the River Bure. And look at the weather today, what a difference. The wind has gone up, it's extremely dull, it's quite chilly today. Rain is expected later in the afternoon. So it's back to the usual kind of March weather we've had of late, chilly, rainy, kind of dull. But I had the best of it while I've been away, and as long as it remains like this when I get back and suddenly doesn't turn into some kind of amazing heat wave or something, that will all be good. Now, I hope you can hear me over the wind noise on the microphones. As to what we're going to be doing today, I really don't know because of that impending rain that's going to be coming. I was going to be heading straight up to go to Sutton on the River Ant, where I can pack my stuff up and then go to the Sutton Staithe Hotel for a drink and maybe some food tonight before taking the boat back to Stalham tomorrow morning. Yes, you can see I'm wrapped up again. It is a bit chilly more today. I'm coming up with all sorts of expressions, chilly more. Or I thought I could just while away some hours and plod down the River Bure towards Acle, because that's always an interesting little journey to go down there, and then turn round for nothing more than just a trip down the river and then head up the River Ant. Overnight mooring tonight, I've decided, will be Sutton Staithe. It's a lovely mooring. I'm sure that the couple of other Richardson's boats may also be there if they're going back, if they've had a short break like me, or perhaps they've had longer and a week and so won't be going there tonight, or maybe they're just going to be going there tonight for a meal. I don't know, I'm going on. It's early in the morning, leave me alone. so like, you get me, like, because like up here, yeah, like there's always like things like trees and water. It's like whatever, man, like you like, well, from where I'm from, yeah, like in the hood, yeah, right, like we ain't got no trees, water, like this, like trees maybe going around this state, whatever, like water in the gutter, yeah, you get me, though, because it's like, come up here, like, but you get bare judgment up here, like, because people looking at your hood rat and they go like, oh no, like, I ain't gonna go and mess with him, but we ain't so bad, you know. Don't hug a hoodie though, don't hug no hoodie, because we'll go back, we'll fight back, you know what I'm saying, like. But anyway, so like I'm going down my boat, like I got my bitches in the back, and like, I see over here like this thing, like it looks like some, I don't know, chimney or something like this, like, you know what I mean, blood, like. So I'm gonna go and check this out, like, because it's like some Benet's Abbey shit. I don't know what the hell it is, man, but like my teacher said go down there and like do some work on it or something. I'm like, alright, whatever, you know what I mean, like. So say going back in, like, you know, fenders or whatever, innit? So I've got to come out countryside. Like my mate Benny Murphy, he says come out here, like, you know, I have a boat. Well, boat you had one happy, like where you from? Like Stratford. He's like, Stratford, like East London. I was like, yeah, damn ghetto, damn right. Like I got on the train, come up Norwich, it's like well bad up here. Anyway, like, so like this is like Captain's blog, yeah, some dude called like London Rascal, yeah, he's like well safe, like, so I watch him, yeah, because he's good like that, you know what I'm saying, like. Anyway, like, so I'm gonna have to do this sort of thing, so stay safe, yeah, alright, peace. So this is St Benet's Abbey and you're watching the Captain's Blog, which, let's face it, ain't a history documentary, so let's not get ideas above our station, but nonetheless I thought you might be interested in finding out a bit of information about the place. Now, St Benet's, according to Abbey tradition, was founded on the site of a 9th century monastery. Now, Abbey tradition is about as good as two blokes saying to each other in a pub, look, this is what sort of maybe happened. But nonetheless, there was a hermit lived there called Sunman, and he was martyred by the Danes, so they certainly didn't save his bacon. About the end of the 10th century, it was rebuilt by someone called Wulfric, and a generation or so later, about 1022, the estates of Horning, Ludham and Netishead were confirmed by King Canute. I suppose he went round and said, now hear this, Horning, Ludham and Netishead, your confirmed estates, now get on with it. Other early benefactors included Edith Swanashay, concubine to Harold II, and Earl Ralph II of East Anglia, and by 1065 the Abbey had established a cell at Rumborough Priory in Suffolk, which sounds like some sort of underground organisation hanging out in a priory in Suffolk. But by the time of the Norman Conquest, Harold Godwinson had put the abbot of St Benet's, Alfwold, in charge of defending the coast against invasion, because that was all that was going on at the time, all this invasion. And after the conquest, Alfwold, well, he fled to Denmark, which may not have been a good idea because the old hermit was marred by the Danes. Anyway, at the time of the Abbey's estate suffered encroachments by neighbouring landowners. You can just imagine it with their shovels and picks. We want the land! The site was enclosed by a wall with battlements by 1327, meaning these local landowners, they were pretty keen on getting this land, weren't they? Anyway, Sir John Falstaff, he's the inspiration behind Shakespeare's Falstaff, by the way, well, he was buried here in December 1459 next to his wife Millicent in a new aisle built by Falstaff to the south side of the Abbey church. St Benet's is the only religious house not closed down by Henry VIII during the dissolution of the monasteries, and he was a pretty pissed off man if there ever was one. Instead, he united the abbacy with the bishopric of Norwich, and therefore the bishops of Norwich have remained abbots of St Benet's Abbey to this day. In fact, the Bishop of Norwich, as abbot, arrives once a year standing on the bow of a wherry and preaches an annual service on the first Sunday of August. So, for 2013, that first Sunday is the 4th of August. After the dissolution, the majority of buildings at the site, with the exclusion of the gatehouse, were demolished. And the second half of the 18th century, some local farmer thought, hello, that looks like a good place for a windmill, and he later converted it to a wind pump. Inside the Abbey gatehouse, removing the second floor in the process, the windmill ceased operating approximately a century later, falling into ruin itself. On the 2nd of August 1987, a cross made from oak from the Royal Estate of Sandringham was erected where the high altar stands. And that is the Captain's Blog version of the history of St Benet's Abbey. So you join me here inside what would have been the mill that was built around the ruins of St Benet's Abbey. And I'm not the most spiritual of people, and I don't think this is anything to do with religion or anything like that, but purely for a sense of calm and peace and reflection. On a day like today, very peaceful, there's no one about, this really is a very special place to come to. And you feel, maybe because of the chamber, the noise of it, the history, how many hundreds of years this has been here, that you just really feel everything's kind of just washed out and all of the stresses have gone. It's really quite a nice experience, not an eerie experience, a nice experience. So I'm just taking some photos and I'll take some footage around here to let you guys know why you need to come here, especially if you can come when it's not full of other people. And there's further evidence of the former abbey itself, the ruins over in the distance there. It's really something to sort of have a look on Google, Wikipedia, find out about its history. I'm sure this would certainly be quite eerie at night, and there must be many people that have moored their boats up and kids come here with torches and had some experiences, I'm sure. I'm sure there's many adults that have had things happen here that have made them rather scared. Big iron gates like this leading up to a staircase like that, you know. The imagination wanders. Personally, this is the first time I've been here since I was about 10 or 12 years old. Every time I've wanted to come here, it's been too muddy and rainy and awful. I think we're just coming here because it's out of the wind. So yeah, I just haven't come here because of the fact that it's been sort of very muddy, very sloshy. I'm not prepared. I don't come with walking boots and stuff. And so yes, it's been a long time since I've been here, and I'm pleased I've come on my own. Some kind of experience has happened to the rascal here. It's kind of strange, but it's a good experience. It's a nice experience. I'm coming back here again, that's for sure. And onwards we go. So I'll go back to the boat, and time now is 10 minutes to 11, and it's the 7th of March 2013. It's due to rain later today, unfortunately, but making the best of it. This was just literally going to pass by this and Benet's Abbey again, and I thought, no, let's quickly moor. So I'm glad I did. More as it happens. Here we got 3 other boats. Just met a really nice guy with his dad on Magic Gem further down there, took their picture for them, and it's a really good way to enjoy life. You know, even if you like all of the big things in life, you know, adventurous things, loud things, you know, all of this, sometimes just to come and unwind like this. And I was just walking along thinking, you know, you can't get this anywhere else. Can't get this in a holiday park or in a hotel in Benidorm. And it doesn't mean you have to spend an absolute fortune on the newest, glossiest, sexiest boat to come and enjoy the same places. As you can see, just going along, a couple of ducks have turned up, looking at me as if to say, who do you think you are? Where did we end up on this bloody boat? And by the way, where's our food? You know. Oh, hello, come on love. Bugger this, he's got nothing, we're off. We're off in the water. We're just literally about to turn onto the River Ant on my right hand side. The tide is flowing this way, quite fast now, and had an interesting situation then with a rather large plank of wood I spotted, so I put the boat into neutral, let it sort of bash into the hull, and had a look out the back to see it had gone before starting up the propeller again, because you don't want something like that being sucked in the propeller. So if there is something like that, that's the best sort of course of action to take. So just now turning into the much more placid River Ant, and because the tide is coming out, all of the water down the River Ant is also obviously pouring out, and where they've been doing the works, the bank works, that's probably where that plank came from, there is a lot of debris and floating what's nots coming down the river. So that's something to be aware of at the moment. Other than that, it will be now all the way to the top of the River Ant, to a place called Sutton. There's Sutton Broad to go over, and then we'll end up at Sutton Staithe. Time now is about 5 minutes to 1 in the afternoon. The weather hasn't perked up any, but it hasn't started raining, so that's one thing I suppose. So I'll just show you some of the scenes on here on the Ant, and then we'll be obviously going through Ludham, past Tower Hill, over Barton Broad, and then up towards Sutton. So if you're looking on maybe Google Maps or a map of the Broads, you can figure out roughly where I'm talking about all these places. So anyway, this is what you can see on the River Ant today. So this is the River Ant. As you can see, this is works that have been done in the past on the left hand side, where a lot of the grass has grown back, and then we come to the new stretch where they've worked very recently. In fact, they've been doing this while I've been away, and you will have seen this on previous days with the diggers along here. What all of this work is, it's all for the Environment Agency. It's flood defence works. Some time ago, many years ago, when you see all these made up banks with the piling and such, that was the kind of the flood defence. However, that's been superseded by digging new channels behind the rivers so that excess overflow can be absorbed by them rather than flooding the marshland. And you can see just there a cut into one of those channels. But in other words, the banks that were there therefore were not really river banks in the true sense of the word, despite having the piling and stuff. So now that is no longer needed. They don't need to keep up the work of that piling, making sure that it's in good order, etc. And so can reprofile the banks, get rid of it all, seed them, and there you go, job done. Doesn't look very pretty. You won't be able to moor a boat there really, but in time that's how it will be. So I suppose one must have the better interests of the people that live around here, the marshland, the grazing cattle and so on, and so this is all the price that the rivers, at least for the time being, must pay, with their beauty being rather ripped away. So what they're doing is, despite the size of the machinery, they're quite agile, and they're literally picking up individual pieces of wood that made up the bank and the pilings here, and then they're also using some of that and the mud from the side of the river to reprofile. Actually, there's 3 diggers there, 2 in operation. There's the other boom that's sticking out across the river, and then flattening it. You can see there they're picking up that bits of wood. So this is Ersted, just a few properties, of which they are lovely, that line the narrow river here. I believe actually this stretch of the River Ant is called Ersted Shoals. I believe because the original bed of the river is actually hard, it's stony pebbles, it's not mud, although it's probably going to be covered in mud at the moment, but I'm not sure if that's quite correct, but I've heard it be said this is Ersted Shoals. Some lovely properties, a lovely part of the world this. The views from their windows across the marshland must be amazing. The property we're just coming up to now, the thatched property here, which was on the market recently for sale, for a reasonable amount of money. Let's not beat around the bush, but not an obscene amount of money. I noticed that the for sale sign has gone, so I presume it has been sold. It does obviously need some work doing on it, but you know, any of these properties, I mean, to have one of these and, you know, wake up in the morning on a summer's day, what an absolutely idyllic lifestyle. Of course, to some of you maybe that would be awful. In the countryside, in some old thatch, oh, terrible, I want a modern apartment with a great city view and all the rest of it. But to some people, that is heaven. So if anyone has bought it, I hope that they will enjoy their purchase. Then we are very close indeed to the beginning of Barton Broad, where it's said that Nelson learnt to sail. So here we are, we've arrived now at Barton Broad, and look at just how calm this looks. Barton Broad is the second largest expanse of water on the Norfolk Broads, beaten only by Hickling. In 2000 there was a large dredging project undertaken to suck up the sediment from the bottom of the Broad, and it's made it a lot deeper. It was called the Clearwater 2000 project. It's improved the water quality immensely. There is also the island, which you can just see over here. You can't moor on that, and it is shallow around the edges of that, but we'll be taking, if you can see here, the right hand channel. This is a channel marked Broad with the green channel markers. Since the dredging, it is safe to go outside of those to the most part. They're more advisory than ever they were, but that's not to say if you see channel markers anywhere else that you can go outside them. For example, on Braden Water, do not ever go outside them. But if you want to mud wait on the Broad and be out of the way of passing boats, yachts, etc., this is a major sailing community, comes up here, there's regattas held, and because of its openness and sheer size, when the wind blows it can get quite choppy, which is an exciting experience. The whole River Ant is my favourite river on the Norfolk Broads. It's got a bit of everything. You've got Barton Broad, you've got serenity and calmness with the narrow waters of the River Ant. You also got places to stop off and easily walk to, such as Ludham and the Dog Inn, Barton Turf, Nettist Head. They're all lovely places, and of course at the top of the navigation you've got Wayford and Dilham, and there's another pub there, the Cross Keys. So I certainly would advise, if you're planning to hire on the Norfolk Broads and your boat won't go under Potterheim or Wroxham, then don't get something that will not also go under Ludham Bridge. Boats such as Prisma Horizon and Far Horizon from Horizon Craft at Acle, also part of the Richardson's group, will not even go under Ludham Bridge. So all of this area would be out of reach. And having hired Far Horizon, I know just how frustrating that can be to be limited just to the Bure and the Thurn. So this is Barton Broad, deserted. So we just reached the turn off here for the arm that would go down towards Wayford and Dilham, and the arm that would go to Stalham and Sutton. So I'll show you what this looks like. So there it is, as you can see. So we went to go to the left, we would eventually end up at Wayford. We'd pass the Honeystep Mill and so on, but we are going right and we are going on to Sutton. Haven't actually seen or passed another boat. It's very quiet up here. indeed. But of course, in the season, especially on a changeover day at Richardson's, this gets very busy with people going back or coming, having taken over their boat, coming down the other way. So it's always interesting if you're on the boat and you're not taking it back mid-afternoon. Everything sort of quietens down, and then there's this enormous rush of boats that come down the Ant from Richardson's. So right in front of us is Sutton Broad. Now, Sutton Broad once upon a time would have been quite a considerable expanse of water, whether over the hundreds of years the reed line has ever increased, and so now it effectively looks like a very wide open bit of river. If you're approaching here and think, oh my god, no, this is wrong, we wanted Stalham, quick. Well, it's okay, because you can turn just down here and that will take you back to the river where you turn right and you can go to Stalham. Equally, if you've moored overnight at Sutton Staithe, you're taking the boat back in the morning, that's the turning you want, so you'll go down there, turn right and then up to Stalham. And here is the actual Broad itself. It's very long and not very wide. So I've just seen the end of Sutton Staithe in sight and put the old life jacket on, ready to moor up, and that basically almost concludes this Captain's Blog, the budget boat review. I hope you've enjoyed over the last few episodes watching the different things we've done, we've talked about, from me being more sensible and serious to maybe sometimes not all the time. It's been a pleasure to come and be on the boat again with Richardson's Boating Holidays. This is a very tidy, nice little boat for a good value holiday. So as I've said before, if you're in the market for coming on this boat, then I would give it sort of 8 out of 10. It's a really comfortable, warm, nice boat. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever at all, apart from the fact it's just not new or flybridge and all the rest of it. Of the types of different bathtubs, forward steer boats, I would say this is amongst the best, just because of some of the little extra features, the types of lighting, the thermostatic warm air heating and so on. So make your own conclusions, make your own choices. Here it is, here's the Staithe. It's almost time for me to moor up. So I don't know if you can see in the gloom, there's the speed limit sign there, and that marks the start of the Staithe, and that's where I'm going to be mooring, right on the end there, because then it means in the morning I can use that wider expanse over on the right to turn round and head back down Sutton Broad and off to Stalham. So here we are, tied up for the night here at Sutton Staithe, right on the end, with the expanse of the Broad behind me. The reason why I've chosen this location to moor in overnight rather than further down the Staithe is there's this large expanse of water here which makes turning very easy. And the reason why I didn't turn already and moor facing the direction I need to go in tomorrow is just because it's obviously easier to moor on this side and step off than on the other side. This is the rest of the Staithe though. The moorings are very popular in the season and you must arrive early to get one. Is already, even though we're out of season, Mary Moore from Barnes Brinkcraft moored up down there, as you can see, and a couple of Richardsons. I believe that might be those two bathtubs. There's a water point down there as well, and there's also an independent boatyard. The busy main road separates the Staithe from the walk into the village. So thanks again, thanks for coming along for the ride with the Rascal on the Captain's Blogs. Until next time then, I come to Norfolk on another boat. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen, and maybe it's inspired you to try boating holidays, or just to try a budget boat for a change. Anyway, it's been a pleasure making this Captain's Blog. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have making. So until next time, bye for now.